Hello, homeschoolers. My name is Laura. Welcome to the land of Kakiak. Today, I'm just going to talk about our end of the year kind of wrap up, kind of thoughts. So I'm going to show you some stuff, and I actually haven't totally gone through this pile yet. It's stuff I've been setting aside. It's Saturday. Everyone's out of the house right now, and I was like, I'm just going to go through that stuff and try to put together the pieces of the puzzle. The puzzle is kind of jumbled. The education puzzle is kind of jumbled in my head right now. So I kind of need to make sense of what we've done and where we are going. All right, here we go. Okay, so I'll just start with Beauregard. He was a preschooler this year, and he completed the alphabet. And this program this is just me, something I made. This is the printable version. So the big goal for preschool was for him to learn his alphabet, to learn all the sounds of all the letters this year, and to do some rudimentary, practicing. So he did, his A's, and he was supposed to draw an ant. So I think that's an ant on a flower, right? So we're trying to get that visualization going with, so we're kind of trying to double up phonics and kind of like vocabulary too, right? Anyway, so then this A would be, we used ape. We talked about A. I didn't do an A that's spelled aw in here because we covered that a lot when we were playing memory with our flashcards. But yeah, so I thought I would just look back, and this went really slow at the beginning, and it did speed up. But yeah, he did complete this year, and it really taught him. We taught him how to hold his pencil. We taught him his letters. He really increased his focus. He kind of learned what to expect. We've set some expectations for the upcoming year, and I think he is very well prepped for alpha phonics now, which we are starting and moving into kindergarten. Oh, he didn't do this big N page. Anyway, so yes, but he pretty much completed everything else. I think he just didn't do that one N page. We saw a lot. It was a lot of progress. It was a big year. Okay, so it's the end of the year, and there are 2 assessments I do like. I'm not real big on tests besides, like spelling tests and vocab tests, just to see if the kids need to keep studying their word lists or not. I always think of tests, they're not the goal. The goal isn't to score well on a test. The test is a tool for me to know what they've mastered and what they haven't. That's how I look at them. I don't want my kids stressing about it. If they ever start getting stressed about getting answers wrong or anything, I'm like, it's not a big deal. Then that just means the test is letting me know what I need to know. It's doing its job. So no stress. But so the 2 assessments I do like are a spelling assessment or phonic assessment, and some kind of math assessment. I'll show you the spelling assessment first. Okay, so I have this one is just actually from my spelling boot camp course. So we did spelling boot camp. I gave them this. These ones are blank, but there is an assessment just for basically the phonemes of the alphabet. Right, this is the key, and then this is the one they'd be filling out. There's one for R-controlled vowels, the ed suffix, and the glued sounds. There's a consonant digraph one, a vowel team and diphthong one, and one that specifically targets. You can tell if they know the spelling rule. So, right, so my... he just finished up 2nd grade. I didn't worry about all of them. I only had it tested him on the ones that I thought were reasonable. And I came up with my own little prescription. So he needs to work on the CK. Yeah, he'll just spell at the end with just a K still instead of a CK, even after a short vowel. So I was like, okay, he doesn't get that rule yet. He needs to work on doubling final consonants. These blends, he often, especially with R's, it says something like drink. He would spell it D-E-R-I-N-K, drink. So we usually work on some blends. And like C-L, he'll spell things K-L. So I need to address those. The silent E, specifically with the U, when it was made words like, tube, T-U-B, like he would just spell that T-O-O-B and not the U saying ooh. I mean, but again, a lot of these things are it's going to just be, I think, familiarity. Because some of the stuff, like he was spelled it right. Like, I said, the parade went down Main Street. So it's just spelled Maine. He spelled it M-A-N-E, which is a homophone. It's a different Maine. So he's just not familiar with some of the stuff. So he's like spelling them all phonetically, but he's just not being aware of the different spellings of the homophones. Anyway, so that's something I'm thinking on today. I just pulled out my Splendid Spelling because I used that with my boot camp as independent practice. I was like, I'm just going to put that aside. It's something I'm going to think about. And what I was thinking about today was, I was like, what can I do over this summer to kind of work on target those skills without maybe something. I just kind of want, I'm always looking for like more ways to improve stuff. But I was like, well, maybe I should go to my Wheeler's Graded Studies and Great Authors. If you have this book, and this is also, I think, in the public domain, you should be able to print it for free if you can find it. I'll see if I can find it and I'll link it for you. But right like halfway through the book, lesson 103, it starts the rules for spelling. So it will give the spelling rule. And then, so most words ending in silent E, drop the E before a suffix beginning with a vowel. So that's one of our rules. And then it goes into exceptions to rule 1. Some words ending in E retain the E before a suffix beginning with a vowel to prevent a change in pronunciation or to preserve the identity of the word. Like hoeing, right? Shoeing. Anyway, so I was like, maybe I'm gonna take a look at this and see. And this is like, and then they have that's cool, that explanation. And then they just have some stuff that you can dictate to them. So step 1, copy carefully. 2, write from dictation. 3, use the italicized words in sentences of your own. So I was thinking about doing that. So finding these targeted skills and then just figuring out which pages. Talk about those. Yeah, I think I was giving it a think. I'm still thinking. But I did find something that I thought was kind of cool. I'm going to show you. All right, so on YouTube, I found this channel called 4-Minute Phonics. So I was, talking about how he needed to practice on the CK.
Welcome back to 4-Minute Phonics. In this video, we are going to be talking about the digraph CK that comes after short vowels.
Okay, so they're talking about the digraph CK that comes after short vowels. So these are like 4-minute videos, and they went over reading it and then now spelling it. So I was thinking, and it's only like 4 minutes. So I was thinking about having him, and so for the spelling portion, they will show him something like this thing, neck, I'm sure, for this one. And then they're supposed to write down on their own paper how they think neck is spelled, and then see if they spelled it right. They've got all types of stuff on here. They've got contractions review. Is contractions, not contractions. DGE versus GE. Anyway, so look, there was like so many, and they're only for like 4 minutes. So I was like, oh, I like this. I'm going to use this. So I may because I don't want to do anything super complicated. It's over the summer. I promised the kids I was simplifying school and everything. So I think I for sure will definitely at least be doing this with him for those ones that he needed the practice on. I haven't done that assessment yet with my older son. He would do more assessments because he's, going into 7th grade, so he probably do all of them. But yeah, I thought that would be a good thing to do. Plus, they always like watching a video. They like just changing it up. And I'll link this video, this channel for you in the description box as well. Okay, the other thing is the Saxon Math Placement Guide. So you can just Google Saxon Math Placement Guide, or I will link this page for you. And you can actually find, the tests online. And this one's in Sunlight. And then you would just go to whatever grade your kids are in. So I did Everett. He's in the middle school one. It looks like this. Okay, you can just print it out. And they've got one page covers questions from 5-4, another page covers 6-5, and then 7-6, and they have like a rubric up here for you. It tells you, if they've missed 15 or fewer for 5-4, then the student is an average to accelerated 4th grader. Students may begin 5-4. If they've missed 16 or they get 16 or more correct from questions 1 through 20, which is the 5-4 test, student may begin Math 6-5. So if they get less than that, right, then you may want to consider having them go back to Math 3. Anyway, so it gives you quite a few, it gives you your guidance that you need, and that's just free. And it comes with the key and everything. So there's the test, and then this is what you'd fill out for your student. And then here's the answers that you can correct their stuff with. So yeah, so I gave yesterday, I gave Everett his math test, and I gave William his spelling test. I think tomorrow I'm going to give William his spelling test and Everett his math test. Oh wait, I said that wrong. Sunday I'm going to give William his math test and Everett his spelling test. I like to keep those tests, I like to keep those assessments with their lesson plans, where I keep everything in a manila folder together at the end of every year, so that I can see their progress. I can look back and see, how much, they've progressed since last year. And it helps me know what to focus on for this year. So Everett actually did not do so well on his math assessment. So I decided to do my math assistant. And I know I've seen people talk about it before in the RC official curriculum Facebook group. And I think this is the way I'm going to have to go in the future, just to make sure that he is actually doing his work, actually, like, when he gets it wrong, redoing it and like correcting it and stuff. I just think that this is going to take away the option to cheat or, just skip stuff and tell me that he's done it and like stuff, shady stuff. So what I'm actually going to be doing with him this summer, just because he did so poorly on that test, I was shocked. I felt like my head was on fire. Sometimes you just have to, this is how I just think of myself, I have to kind of pretend like he's not my son. I'm very invested in him and his future, and I've personally put so much of myself into homeschooling. You can take it almost like personally when your kids are slacking and not succeeding. And I just have to remind myself, like, I have to almost pretend like he's not mine. Like, I have to pretend like I'm tutoring him or something, and to avoid getting super triggered and overreacting. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm pretending like if he was like a neighbor kid that I had been tutoring, would I blame him or would I blame myself? Right? Like, am I gonna be, you know what I mean? I mean, there's plenty of blame to go around, but so what I'm actually gonna do this summer is I'm making him actually go all the way back to 5-4, and in this, my math assistant, and it was very affordable. I think I got the most expensive plan, and it was only like $8.99 a month. And what they do, if you're not familiar, is they have their books, and you can pick which book you have. Okay, I'm not sure where it is, but when I set it up, I know that I picked which book he was in, and you can even pick between like the school editions or like the homeschool edition. So you just pick which one that you have. So that's really nice. And if you want to know their scores, just go to scores over here and see, it'll tell you how many correct out of how many possible and their score. Then, so like on this one, like he got a 74.4%. obviously I would be requiring him to go back and redo that one. And it actually even gives them like a grade. That's cool. Anyway, so I think we're going to be using this. I will tell you how it goes. I was thinking about, since he technically has taken all these before, and I'm like, I'm not really sure what was going on with that test, having him go through and do all of the investigations and just targeting the ones that he got wrong out of the investigations instead of doing like every single lesson. I don't know. This is what I'm thinking, but we're going to use my math assistant one way or the other. Okay. I'm thinking about I'm like, maybe I should just have all the kids do it just so we can't get in this pickle again. Like, it'll just make it so they can't. But you have to actually be in here checking and seeing, because it still lets them like move on, lets them do something else without, even if they haven't like got what you consider a passing grade. So you have to be checking this to make sure that they're actually have a passing grade on their lessons. Okay. And lastly, I just was going to give you guys an update on my rising kindergartner. So I put up this video the other day where I was going through this. I showed you the first day's test run. But like the very next day, you know, we started again. And I was just going to tell you, like, he, on his alpha phonics, he improved so much from this day to the next day. I was like, oh my gosh. It's working. Like, he didn't do it like perfectly or anything, but he was getting the hang of it and getting like understanding what we were doing. You could just see there was like a huge improvement in one day. So it was really encouraging. It just made me think, just reminded me that consistency is key. And yeah, if they don't get that lesson that first time or second time, you don't have to be like, oh, this isn't working, I can't use this. Just like, I just kept gently. Like, I think this was the 4th day in a row, right? That I was like, okay, it's time to practice our reading. And I got out lesson 1 of alpha phonics. And we didn't spend that much time on it. You know, their attention span is still only going to be between 5 and 10 minutes max, right? And lots of praise, lots of positivity. And he really responded to that. And then he actually was able to practice tracing and writing all the words. And yeah, anyways. And then he was like on his own, he just started doing, on this page, he just started doing extras. He did his D backwards, but he did the ones I put the box in, told him to do, and then he just started like trying to go for it. And I was like, oh, you don't have to do all those. We're going to try to write our words. Anyway, so I just wanted to tell you to like be consistent and don't be discouraged if the first, second, even third time you're like, oh, maybe they're just not ready. I don't know, maybe it's that 4th time. Anyways, I was really excited about that. And yeah, this was just our reading, our language comprehension, and our science. We talked about hibernating, so he knows what hibernation means. He says it means to sleep through the winter. And he even knows the why, because it's cold. That is what I'm pondering on today. If you have any end-of-year assessments you like to do, or activities, or any special planning you do based on the end-of-the-year stuff, tell me what you do. Leave me a comment down below, because I kind of feel like my brain is a cauldron, just brewing up something. I don't know what. I feel like I'm missing the magic ingredient, you know? Like something to organize my thinking. That's what I'm searching for. Spelling and phonics and the Saxon assessment are going to help me, I think. So, all right. Happy homeschooling.